Can you see what I'm saying? You do, right? You see it. In the real world, in most of life, you can fail more than you succeed and still be at the top, still have everything you want, and still be a super high performer, a super successful person. Even though you have more failures, many more failures, than successes. This is what we should be teaching in schools, not 90% is the only way to succeed and be afraid if you get less than 70%, because that means you're a failure and something's wrong with you. That is a terrible, terrible, terrible message. And so this is what happens. People go through school and this goes deep, deep, deep into their brains, and they have this belief. They don't even realize they have it. They think, I've got to succeed all the time. I always have to succeed, like 90% of the time. And if I fail, that's terrible. It's a really bad thing. And if I fail 2 times or 3 times, that's really, really bad. And if I fail most of the time, more times than I succeed, then I'm a failure. If I fail 50% of the time or 60% or 70%, that means I am a failure in general as a person or as a business person or as an athlete. It's crazy because it's not true at all. If you look at the people in business is nice because we can measure it. That's why I also like sports. Sports and business, we have statistics. There's a score, a number, right? With business, it's money. With sports, there are different statistics, like how many points do you score, how many goals do you make, how many hits do you get. But it's very, very easy to measure it. So that's why I like to talk about these 2 areas of life, just because they're clear. They give us good, clear examples. And if you look, a lot of the very, very rich people, very successful business people, a lot of them had many, 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 many failures before they had a successful business finally. I mean, even Steve Jobs, he's a famous one. He was fired from Apple. He was fired from his own company. Okay? He lost control of his own company. Of course, they brought him back later. They realized it was a mistake. But, at the time, it was terrible for him. It was a huge, huge failure for him. And most entrepreneurs, most people who start their own business, the first one is not super successful. Most of them have a few failures first. Investors, okay, anyone who invests money, like say in the stock market, they will tell you that many of their stocks go down. They do lose money sometimes. Many people, while they're learning to invest, lose money for several years while they're trying to learn. Stock investors will also tell you that sometimes that you can lose money on 90% of your stocks, but if one of them is a big, big, big success, then you will still make money, even if you're wrong 90% of the time. It's just if that one time you're right, if you're really right in a big way, you can still be a great investor. So can you see that this fear of failures is actually crazy in most areas of life? If you're going to die if you fail, that's a good fear. But in the rest of the areas of life, it's terrible because failure is actually normal. Failing more than you succeed in sports and business and most other areas of life is actually the normal situation. It's necessary. The superstars, the very best, still fail more than they succeed. The other kind of fear that stops you, that stops most people, is the fear of critics, the fear of criticism, that other people will say something bad, they'll criticize you, they'll hate you, you start your business, they won't like your product, they'll hate your company, they'll hate you, they'll hate your personality, they'll say mean stuff, maybe on social media, they'll put bad stuff, maybe they'll give you bad reviews on some website or something, maybe they'll just be rude, and maybe people around you, in your family or something will say bad things to you and criticize you. People worry so much about the critics, the haters, right? This is the slang, we call them haters. I'm going to tell you a secret. You must remember this. Haters are losers. Losers. Okay? Losers, this side. Haters are losers. Winners, people who are successful and happy, don't waste their time insulting other people and criticizing them all the time. because they're too busy enjoying their life and doing interesting things. The kind of people who are constantly insulting people and being negative all the time and saying mean things to other people and criticizing other people all the time, they're losers. They're losers. Their life is unhappy. They're not succeeding in their life, and that's why they focus on other people so much. Why would you stop yourself from having a great life and enjoying your life and living your dreams and trying to achieve what you really want? Why would you stop yourself because you're worried about these losers and what they're going to say? I'll tell you something. These losers will always be negative. It doesn't matter what you do. They will always find a way to criticize, and they're always going to find a way to be negative. They are not your friends. They never will be your friends. There's nothing you can do to change their mind. Maybe the one thing you can do, actually, maybe there is one thing you can do. You can also be a loser. See, losers like other losers. So if you just follow your fear, if you don't do anything, if you also become unhappy and rude and insulting and super negative, then the other losers might like you. But do you want that? Ugh. You don't want that. That's an unhappy life. So whenever you think about this, just realize it's also part of success, part of life. You can never make everyone happy. Never, 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 never. The most loved people in the world, in all of history, have people who hated them. I mean, I don't know. Let's think of people. Mahatma Gandhi, he was all about peace and love, and somebody shot him. Okay? Someone hated him enough to shoot him and murder him. You can think of any celebrity, any movie star who has millions of fans that love him or love her. Guess what? They also have probably millions of people who hate them and hate their movies and think they're terrible actors and think they're ugly. Okay? This is life. Politicians in any country, right? Almost always, at least 40%, usually almost half of the people in the country vote against them and hate them. Musicians, right? No, there's no musical group that everybody loves. Even like super popular ones, like the Beatles or something. I've met people who don't like the Beatles, hate their music, hate their personalities. There's no way to avoid it, so you might as well just forget it. Just push the haters away and just ignore them. Instead of worrying about the haters and being afraid of the haters, why don't you focus on love? Because even if 50% hate you, hate your business, hate your ideas, hate your music, hate your art, hate your personality, hate how you look, whatever, guess what? I guarantee there are some people who love all of those things. You should focus on them. Even if it's just 10% of the people that know you. If you have a business, if it's 10% of the people who find your business and try it. If 10% love you, you have a business, you have a successful business. And instead of worrying about the others that hate you, forget them, focus on the ones who love you. Serve them. Make services for them. Make products for them. Connect with them. Focus completely on them, and you will build a very, very, very successful business by focusing on the love, not the hate. And again, this is also true with, your social life. If you're trying to make friends or you're dating, like if you're dating, let's say you're dating, you're young, you're dating, and you go out, you go on several dates. Why would you wouldn't focus on the date where the person hated you and didn't like you? You just forget them, right? You want to focus on the dates where you like the person and they also really like you. That's the one you would ask them for another date and another date, hopefully, right? That's who you'd want to focus on. You'd focus on the love. You'd focus on the good feelings. And if someone really didn't like you, even if you liked them, you thought they were beautiful or handsome, if they didn't like you, why waste your time? There are a lot of people in the world, right? Just don't call them back. Focus on the ones that you like and they like you. You can have huge success in life by just focusing on the love and the positive and the good connections. Focus on the excitement. Focus on the enthusiasm, the love. Focus on the passion. Focus on the positivity. Focus on the gratitude. Focus on the kindness, the appreciation, the respect. Focus on the people who give you those things and that you give that to them as well. There are enough people in the world for that. So again, forget the critics. What does all this mean? I say it all the time. It means trust yourself. At the bottom of this, at the center of this, it means trust yourself. Be kind to yourself. Respect yourself. That's more important than the haters and their opinion. It's more important than the critics. It's more important than being successful and being correct 80% or 90% of the time. Realize that 10% or 20% success can be enough to be a superstar. And realize that haters are losers and that you need to focus on the love. That's how you trust yourself, and that's how you get rid of all the fear that stops you. And you start trying to live that life of your dreams, whatever it is. You start trying to start that own business, or start your side business, or become a freelancer, or take that trip, or change jobs, or go back to school, or study what you want to study, whatever it is, or ask that girl or ask that boy that you really like for a date, whatever it is. You trust yourself and you focus on the love and the positivity. That's how you achieve real success in life. Not what they teach you in school. I'm giving you the truth about real life.